Who in the hell is Mel Kiper, in a way? I mean, here's a guy that criticizes everybody, whoever they take. Mel Kiper has no more credentials to do what he's doing than my neighbor, and my neighbor's a postman.
And now, it's time for another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. A show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mozette, and here's your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Mozette, and welcome to episode 603, the 2018 Pre-Draft and Schedule Edition of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show as we talk about the upcoming NFL Draft and the 2018 Seattle Seahawks schedule. And wow, what can I tell you? The holidays in the clink this upcoming season are going to rock. All right, wow. Our 128th episode, but before we go on with our 128th episode as I try to speak English, let's introduce the posse for this episode, shall we? First, from merry old England, he's the yin to my yang. He's excited about the new schedule, if I say that right, the schedule. It's Matt. Hi, Matt.
Oh, I'm sorry, Matt. Did you say something?
Matt, are you okay, buddy?
Yeah, it's just, I know, I just like to read books now whenever you're talking, because I've already heard everything you have to say.
And why would that be, Matt?
I don't know. I just think I think you're just more suited for sort of hospital radio or sort of not really for the prime time yet.
Are we keeping you up?
Yeah. I'm
so
not knackered.
sorry.
I'm here. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Hi. It's a schedule. Yes.
Schedule. Yes. I want to make sure I was doing it right for you. The schedule.
It's a
Schedule.
Yeah. Not a schedule.
People. Also, our news hound, who drafts a good editorial each week on SeahawksSouth.com. That is Shadowhawk Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses.
How are you?
I'm okay. True story, though. I was going to do the exact same bit that Matt just did.
Yes.
But I told myself, no, Matt will probably do it first. So I'm already picking winners tonight.
Wow.
Nice.
It's like riding a bike, isn't it? We all get together and we just finish each other's skits, don't we?
We've been doing this for way too long.
Hey, also here, a man who likes to draft behind old ladies on the highway. It's Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Of the world.
Hey, all right.
Is that not the right time?
That's close enough.
Okay, good.
We'll slice it together when we need it later. How are you?
Perfect. Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Excited about the new schedule and everything?
Yeah, I heard we have one.
We do. We'll talk about that coming up.
Oh, good. You guys can fill me in.
We will. And also from sunny California, please welcome back the man who still listens to 8-tracks and watches VCR tapes. It's Statsman Mark! Statsman Mark!
Hello. Hey.
How are you, Mark?
I'm just living in the past, Dennis. I just wanted to say that, you know what, I've had a sponsor, I've worked with a therapist, and I've sought the company of a webcam model, but nothing gives me the relief of being on the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Oh,
I don't know if I should be disturbed or flattered.
Where's the
More
drum
than a little
beat?
disturbing.
Well, I was going to do the drum
It
beat,
was
but it got
supposed to-
kind of sentimental there at the end.
Yeah, see, now it feels too heavy. There was no drum. Anyway.
Nothing like the
True
12-Man
story.
Fan Jam Show.
What are we talking
There
about
you
again?
Oh, my God.
All right. We'll
Yeah,
fix
if you haven't
Maybe one of
noticed,
them
we're back at
shows.
full strength after a couple shows that we had people missing, but we're all back. I want to get to the show, but before we do, I do want to share real quick a story from my son, Little Mo. Little Mo, Seahawk fan, of course, in his own right. And it's related to what we're going to talk about tonight because it's about the draft. And a few weeks ago, he told me, he woke up, he said, Dad, I had this dream last night that the Seahawks drafted Shaquem Griffin in the first round. And then at the end of the first round, for some reason, we got another pick. And we picked a running back. And then he said, suddenly, we're halfway through the season, and the Seahawks have put Griffin in at running back, and the running back in at linebacker, and they're both, like, going for Rookie of the Year. Now, anyone who's watched this team when it comes to taking players and put them in another position, when you're dreaming about it like Little Mo, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
We never pick
premonition.
anyone in the
because
first
it could happen.
round.
Yeah.
We never pick
Who
anyone in
knows,
the first
though? It
round.
might work.
It might work. You never know. So I wanted to have that on the record for posterity. While we're recording today, it is the day we record happens to be 420. And those of you who know, you know what 420 is, baby. That's right, little Grateful Dead. You know what that means. It's a little smoky in here. Woo! All right. I won't say more about that. No.
But it's the 21st of April here, so I'm already high.
Congratulations on that. And we do not advocate that. If you do that, do it where it's legal, like in California and in Washington, where 3/5 of the people on this show are at right now. But
Buffalo Soldier in the heart of America. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Let's get to the show, shall we, Fergie?
Let's get it started in here.
Yes, let's get it started in here. The show's run like a real NFL football game, 4 quarters and a halftime. Quarter 1, Will share news with us. Quarter 2, we will talk about that new NFL schedule and the new 2018 Seattle Seahawks NFL schedule that was just released. At halftime, it is the best Seahawk-themed trivia game on the internet. It is 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia.
Of the world.
Of the world. Nobody here has won yet.
Off season, doesn't matter.
Dustin's was the 5th season championship in 01, so we're all 0-0 here. We're all a bunch of zeros. Quarter 3, we're going to talk about the draft needs that this team has for a short time. We can talk forever. In quarter 4, Will and I will once again I believe it's our 4th annual draft challenge. I believe something like that.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so you'll have to stay. If you want to hear a real mock draft, you listen to Will. But then I also offer one up for fun. So, but we'll see how it goes. Before we start, please like, share, subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Please join our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Also on Twitter and email. Twitter, Seahawk Positivity. Email 12manfanjamshow@gmail.com. New this season, we are uploading an audio podcast of our show on Podbean. We're also on iTunes as well, so you can find the podcast version of our show if you want to do that and download it. Uploaded soon after this video on YouTube. So let's get to the first quarter and news. Yes, news from around the NFL with our news hound Will. It's the 12-Man Fan Jam Show news report brought to you by this week's sponsor, the Mel Kiper Hair Gel. Mel Kiper Hair Gel. Want to have your hair look like Dracula on a day pass or an extra in the next Martin Scorsese movie about New York? Then the Mel Kiper Hair Gel is for you. Just a couple drops will bring that widow's peak hairline right out. Add a couple more drops and that hair will magically make you an expert in projecting the future of young workers in your field. Mel Kiper's hairspray, sold separately. Will, what you got for us?
Well, Moses, did you know that Gronkowski is going to be running in the Kentucky Derby?
That does not surprise me that much, actually. But
True.
no, I did not know that.
Well,
Do share.
Not that Gronkowski. However, there is a connection. There is a horse that is going to run in the Kentucky Derby on May 5th named Gronkowski. Rob Gronkowski of the New England Patriots has recently bought a minority stake in the horse. So Rob Gronkowski owns Gronkowski, who will be running in the Kentucky Derby. I've never dealt with horses, Rob Gronkowski told the Wall Street Journal. Hopefully I can get a ride on the horse. However, Rob Gronkowski weighs about 150 pounds more than the jockey who's actually going to ride the horse, and Rob said that was okay. I'm not trying to ride it for a full speed. I just want to get the feel of what it's like to be on top of one. Maybe I'll go for a full speed ride once I get comfortable.
That sounds like Matt on a Friday night.
No.
Oh.
A low blow. Start as we mean to go
Also sounds like Matt on a Friday night.
Oh,
Thursday.
Willie.
Ouch.
Honestly,
See what happens when you decide not to do a show. I don't want to do a show. I'm tired. See what happens.
I'm tired now. I can shut this down and be gone in a matter of seconds. I don't need this. And the BBC are asking me to do interviews. You know, I'm busy. You know what I mean?
Gronkowski the horse. So they actually called the name Gronkowski the horse.
Yep.
That's kind of bizarre. Mark, you're our betting man. What are the odds that Gronkowski wins the Derby?
Oh boy, I shudder to think that anybody out there would be a sucker like I was last year. No, I don't know. You know, that whole, I don't know, that idea makes about as much sense as that organization right now. So there's, I love it. Is the empire crumbling? The Death Star is crumbling. No, What can you say? Gronk always coming up with ideas.
Is he the coolest? Is that the coolest name ever for a tight end? Because I think, Dustin, I knew a guy one time who had 2 cats, and he named his cats Carlester and Crumpler. You remember Carlester Crumpler?
Yes.
Oh man, is that not? To me, that's the best name ever that the Seahawks did. Carlester Crumpler is like the best name ever. But
That's a pretty cool name.
Yeah,
I've got some report here for you from a gentleman called Trevor Wenham, who is apparently some sort of horse, I don't know, specialist, who says, can Gronkowski win the 2018 Kentucky Derby? In a word, no. It's not bred. He's not bred to get the distance or to take the surface. Jockey and trainer are both solid enough, but not at the top of their games and not suited for the challenge. He could be more competitive in a soft year, but is certainly not shaping up to be one of those. An easy pass. Oh no, that was written by Mel Kiper.
Oh,
Wow.
Beautiful.
that'll
Beautiful.
slick your hair back.
Looks like Gronkowski's going to have to wait another year for the Kentucky Derby. Will, what else you got?
Well, a little missive about one of my favorite owners in the sport, Dan Snyder of the Washington Redskins. Oh, excuse me, the Potomac Drainage Basin Indigenous Persons. Last December, Washington Redskins fan Matt Friedrich wrote a personal letter to Dan Snyder, basically saying, quote, please give Kirk Cousins a long-term deal that makes him happy to be a Redskin, even though that means making him the highest paid player in NFL history. Thank you. That, of course, didn't happen, but he actually got a response from Daniel Snyder of a sort. An autographed photo of Dan Snyder. There wasn't even a cover letter or anything.
What I've
for the
always
Washington
wanted.
Post. Just one photo of Dan Snyder signed.
Wow.
That would teach me for drinking in the middle of one of Will's stories. Any Dan Snyder would do something stupid like that.
Friedrich says he's more than ready to cheer for the team's new quarterback, Alex Smith, but referred to Snyder responding to the letter with an autographed picture of himself as, quote, kind of a jackass move, unquote.
What? He's a jackass? You're kidding.
Oh boy.
That's
I know, he could knock
hysterical.
me over with a feather.
That
I don't
is
believe it.
amazing.
That guy needs to watch his mouth. That dude's a national treasure.
He was,
I'm going to tell you now, everyone needs
That's
to go
why
and have
he's
a look
in
at
Washington. They're going to make a monument to him.
You've got to go and actually, everybody who's listening to this, all 4 of you, make sure you go and Google and have a look at the autograph picture he actually sent them, because it's a picture of Dan Snyder, older picture, in a suit looking really uncomfortable.
Now, when you said all 4 of you, were you referring to us on the podcast right now that are listening?
Yeah, pretty
to
much.
you?
Exactly.
No,
all of us should go and Google. Come on, you've got Google open.
Well, and if you're, I'll tell you what, if you're watching this on YouTube, I will put up the picture as well. I'm sure it's beautiful.
He just looks such an awkward picture.
I'm not surprised at all.
he was autographing those over like scotch and waffles in this jet jacuzzi, you know, with a tray to sign all that stuff, like Ron Burgundy, right?
Can you imagine that getting that under the tree at Christmas? You're
I
like,
just-
hey
I'd
kids,
rather
guess
not.
what? Guess what? It's a picture of Dan Snyder. Merry Christmas. Yeah, that'd be pretty much it right there.
I think that's what you do when you want to tell your kids Santa Claus is not real.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and here's the proof.
Was that Rosemary's Baby, Dennis?
It was. Very nice. Wow. Rosemary's Baby, everybody. Reference to
Nice
70s
job with
movie.
that old guy reference.
Yeah, that's an
Wow.
old guy reference. Well, thank you, Will. Usually that's the end of the first quarter. However, I do feel the need to add another edition this episode of Headlines and Punchlines. Headlines and Punchlines in this episode, in honor of the upcoming draft. I thought we would dive into the seedy, lesser-known underground world and background of one of NFL's most mysterious commentators, Mel Kiper Jr. You don't know a lot about Mel. Just kind of shows up about February, and he kind of disappears in May, and you don't know a lot about Mel Kiper Jr. So, who is Mel Kiper Jr. really? Well, let's find out as we use the headline. It's a little known fact about Mel Kiper Jr. So here's how we play. I will say the headline, and someone will deliver a punchline. Will!
Yes, sir.
It's a little known fact about Mel Kiper Jr.
that he actually went bald in 1992 and achieves a somewhat hair-like effect by training a guinea pig to lie very still on the top of his head.
He's the guinea pig whisperer.
Very nice. I'll do one, and I know Mark has one. One of mine is, it's a little-known fact about Mel Kiper Jr. that if he had the chance, he would cut Todd McShay in an argument.
I ended up with a couple too, Dennis.
Okay, Dustin? It's a little-known fact about Mel Kiper Jr.
That he's a stuntman for the dude on Ancient Aliens in the off-season.
Oh.
Mark! It's a little-known fact about Mel Kiper Jr.
That Mel Kiper Jr.'s marriage to Todd McShay was annulled 2 drafts ago.
Oh! That's why they're so angry. It's a little-known fact about Mel Kiper Jr. that he once drank Mike Mayock under the table. It happened. It's also a little-known fact about Mel Kiper Jr. that he stays young by drinking the blood of young undrafted quarterbacks.
Nice. I've got one more also.
Oh, okay. Dustin, it's a little-known fact about Mel Kiper Jr.
He doesn't use a hair guy before he goes on TV. He uses a driver to take him out on the freeway while he holds his head out the window like a dog.
Then he closes his mouth so he doesn't get bugs in his teeth.
Right. He also gets the treats when they go to a coffee shop.
Does he get a puppy cup if they go to Dairy Queen? Because that's the best part. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a little-known fact about Mel Kiper Jr. that he sleeps in a coffin lined with the dirt from Lambeau Field. It's true. I went with the whole Dracula theme. And finally, it is a little-known fact about Mel Kiper Jr. that on more than one occasion, he has found himself waking up on draft day in the same bed as Roger Goodell. Doesn't know how he got there. It just happens. All right. Thank you,
I wouldn't tell
everyone.
anybody
That's
about
the end of the
that
first
either.
quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Coming up on this very special pre-draft and schedule episode of 12-Man Fan Jam Show, it's the 4th annual NFL Draft Challenge. But next, we discover the 2018 Seattle Seahawks schedule. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Go to a store, buy a hat, and get ready to hold that onto it. We're not kidding.
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
Okay, so here we are at the second quarter of episode 603. We're going to talk about the schedule here in a moment. But first, I want everybody to know that during break, Dustin has invited us all to watch him work the elliptical. So, Dustin, you told us all we can come and watch you work the elliptical machine. I can't wait.
Yeah, minimal cover
I have
charge.
plans.
Awesome. But before we do that, Dustin, we're going to talk about the schedule.
Okay.
The Seahawks schedule came out this week. 8, and much to many people's surprise, 8 home games, 8 road games.
Wow.
1 game in London, of course. The bye week is the 21st of October. And Mark was quick to point out, Mark, a rough start to the season if you look at the first half, isn't it?
Well, I mean, 5 out of 7 on the road, but and Will added to this, when I mentioned it in Facebook, was at least we're not facing these stellar QBs. I meant
True.
like Keenum is in his first year in Denver, and then Trubisky in Chicago. Dak, the Cowboys are in there, I think, and so we have a shot, and then I guess better to play in the heat, which is what Will had mentioned, than going in there in December and so on. So
yeah,
it's doable. I mean, if we'll know a lot about this season really early, if we survive and go 500 or whatever through the initial 6 games, we'll be in pretty good shape considering where our roster's at.
Yeah, I think it's kind of neat too because the way with the big high turnover of this roster already, it's going to make them. It's going to be us against the world for the first half of the season. And I think that's going to bond some of the new players together because they're not going to have a lot. They're going to be playing for them. It's going to be us against the world, 5 out of 7 games on the road. So they have to bond. And I think that's kind of a good thing too. Don't you think, Will?
I definitely think so. And this is shaping up to be the kind of season where we may get off to another slow start and maybe playing catch up. But all I want to see this year is improvement over the course of the season and something to build off of. And I think having 4 out of our last 5 at home could give us a chance to finish strong. And One other quick thing. I could not believe that we got 4 out of half of our home games are primetime this year.
That's crazy.
So that's just crazy. Yeah, it's nuts.
I thought we'd have 1 or 2 if we were lucky. I was really shocked by that. Matt, excited about the London game, are we not?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a balls up really as far as ticketing is at the moment. The stadium itself is being rebuilt from the ground up, so they haven't released a seating plan because apparently the NFL won't commit on tickets until they know exactly where their camera points are going to be, because just in case you're stuck behind a camera, therefore you'd complain and be up in arms. It's a much smaller stadium than Wembley as well, which means it really is a premium game. It's going to be almost impossible, I think, to get tickets for this game. So it might be, weirdly enough, the only time I don't get to go to a Seahawks game, even though it's in the UK. Yeah, I mean, it's happening. I'm more interested in exactly what Will says and how we develop over this season. I'm more interested. The London game is the London game. It's an away game against the Raiders. Who knows what's going to happen? The whole conversation is going to be about Marshawn Lynch anyway, probably. So, let's see what happens with that one. But yeah, I think it's an interesting season. Looks like it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's weird. I look at this schedule, and we're listed as the 5th toughest schedule in the NFL based on record of who we're playing. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really. This doesn't really stand out as a murderer's row to me. I don't know.
No, it doesn't. I think the thing that worries me though is actually more our own division. That's where the real worry. But we were going to play them anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't. Mm-hmm. That's not a surprise. But yeah, I think it's going to be. I think there will be some tough games. And I think, as Will says, I think we will start off slow. That's going to put the wobbles in. The fans are going to be like, oh, here we go. You got rid of all the good people, and it's all going wrong. But I think it's a case of it will probably start slow and build up.
Yeah, and just shocked about all the primetime games. Of course, the 2 Sunday night games later in the season, the 49ers on December 2nd and the Chiefs December 23rd could be flexed out, of course. But either way, they're going to be home games, and so that's something to be excited about. Hopefully, the Monday Night Football obviously will not be. The Thursday night obviously will not be. And we have 2 Monday nights and 1 Thursday night. So it's just amazing that we had this many primetime games. I'm really kind of shocked.
I think the last thing I would say that is one thing I do look for is when we're going to be playing teams that are in really cold climates and cold. When it is it going to be like full on snow, and those hard grounds that cause injuries and stuff. It doesn't look too bad. No. I think we're playing Detroit early-ish in October, so that should be okay.
It looks to me like the Panthers on the 25th of November would be the only chance.
Yeah.
To play in that kind of, and that's a great point, because that's the only team I look at the schedule that has a remote chance. Because if you start from November to December, because that's probably when we're thinking snow. You're at the Rams, the LA, no. You're at the Panthers, maybe. You're at the 49ers. So that's not going to happen. That may happen at home, but it's not going to happen there.
No.
Remember back when we were in the AFC West, and it seems like every year we had to play at Denver in December? I mean, it was just crazy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do. 2 things happened during that era. We played in December in Denver, and we lost at Kansas City. Like 10 in a row or something?
Yep.
It was ridiculous. And then we finally get a win after Derek Thomas sacks our quarterback 9 times, and we throw a Hail Mary and win the game. I mean, that's just... It's good to see the NFC West. Or AFC West. That's a good point, because we are playing the AFC West. We're playing the Chiefs. We're playing the Chargers, and that's fun. We're playing the Raiders. We're playing the Broncos. So that's always fun to see them back on a schedule. That's a good point. Overall, Mark, looking at this schedule, are you more optimistic about the season, or more pessimistic, or just like the same you were before?
Well, I mean, you guys are breaking it down to where I can visualize, like this being a good season. I mean, offhand, it's just, there's so many things that have to happen still. We need a heck of a draft. I mean, I think we're going to have rookies playing. I'm excited about it, but I think best case scenario for him is 10 wins, as far as I can tell right now. Because I think it's the NFC is just going to be really competitive. There's some, but we'll see. The schedule changes dynamic as it ticks along, but I'm not expecting a lot out of this team. I'm just excited to see something, different. I mean, because there's just been so much overhaul, and see how these guys gel.
Yeah, I agree. Dustin, does the schedule make you more optimistic, more pessimistic, or doesn't change your feelings either way?
Well, when I look at the schedule, the thing I notice is like everybody else, it's the back-loaded home schedule, the front-loaded away schedule. And in most years, I would have been excited for that because we're holding serve at home at the end of the year, looking to go into the playoffs and have the best chance at that point to maybe secure home field advantage or whatever. But looking at this year with all the turnover and all the things that are going to be different, I don't know if spending that much time on the road at the beginning of the year is going to be a good thing. So I'm a little worried about that. But like you were saying, though, at the same time, if they get through that and if they have a 500 record or better or even close to that, that might help cement them and really help them bond and move forward in a positive note at the end of the season. But yeah, for the most part, though, the schedule thing for me, and I probably say this every year, but it's like it's not who you play necessarily; it's when you play them, and you don't know. It may look rough now, but you never know what's going to go on with those teams. Like Green Bay looks rough every single year. And, people last year were looking at Green Bay like, "Oh man, that sucks." And Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, and he's gone for most of the season. Suddenly, Green Bay doesn't look so tough.
Right.
So not knowing what we're going to be fielding, because our team is not anywhere near complete at this point. Not knowing what's going to happen during the season, I just kind of, I enjoy the ride, enjoy the banter, but I kind of take it with a grain of salt because I don't really believe too much about what we see now is going to be fact when the schedule actually plays out. So
yeah, good point. Matt, your thoughts about the schedule? Feel better? Feel worse? Feel the same?
I feel the same. I'm a bit like Mike. I'm excited to see what we're going to do. I'm interested in this rebuilding that we've got going on, this retooling or whatever they're calling it these days. And whoever we were going to get was going to be tough. The NFC is always going to be tough for us. I think the Rams do feel a bit scarier than normal. I'm interested in the 49ers to see what Sherman does. I really, 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 really want him to be sort of, completely pushed out of a play and made to look a complete idiot against us. That would be amazing. But yeah, it's let's see what happens. But I'm excited. I'm always excited. It's football. And what's there not to be excited about?
Of course, exactly. Will, final thoughts? Better, worse, same?
Well, just a brief little bit of trivia. The last time we started out a season with 2 straight road games, we had a starting safety hold out those 2 games for a bigger contract. So
yeah,
let's hope history does not repeat itself.
Let's hope not. Let's certainly hope not. Last I heard that the agent had officially said he's not going to hold out, but we don't know. We'll see.
It's Earl Thomas. He could wake up tomorrow and change his mind.
He sure could. You never know. You never know. All right. Well, that's a good look at the schedule. Let's go ahead and take it to halftime.
Holy shit, it's halftime!
All right, just ahead the spotlight. So much more show. Is Mel Kiper's hair for real? Is there an upside to everyone? How high is our ceiling? The answer to these and so many other questions coming up, but right now, it's time for the 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia, and that is next!
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, me, and welcome to another fine edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia
of the world.
The trivia game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants are the posse themselves, Matt, Will, Dustin, and Mark, and Earhay are the Ools Ray. So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-man Fan Jam Show trivia champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, The questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Before taping this show, my two charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take the quiz as well. If the contestants want to know what the kids said, they can ask that but once and only once during the entire game show and only in the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. All right, gentlemen, you know the rules. You know what's going on. We have our first round topic is the draft. Seahawks draft history. Seahawks draft history. We will go with Dustin, 1, 2, 3, or 4.
4.
Dustin at 4. Matt, 1, 2, 3.
3.
Will, 1, 2.
1.
Means Mark starts it off. And as usual, there's 3 questions that are football draft questions and one that, well, let's just say that's a little bit of fun. All right. Mark.
Oh, no.
It's all a little fun.
I think, isn't Will leading off? Or
Yeah, I called number 1.
I thought you said 2. Well, I apologize.
Oh,
Mark,
you guys were testing
have a seat, man. There's been a trade. No.
Oh, God. Will
Mark
is
is
on
at
the
number
clock.
2. Will is number 1. Will, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
I guess so. Hey, Will, how many times before this year have the Seahawks used the 18th pick of the draft? How many times before this year have the Seahawks actually used the 18th pick of the NFL draft? 1, 2, or 3? Dance! How many times before this year have the Seahawks used the 18th pick of the draft? 1, 2, or 3? Don't be Googling.
I'm not. Right. I can't remember it. I know we've used 17 a few times. I'll go with 1.
He'll go with 1. The man goes with 1. And the man... I'm sorry. Twice.
Oh, that amazes me.
Yeah, 1979 and 1987, if you're keeping track at home. For the 2
I think
times.
I think Hutch was a 17, wasn't he?
Yep.
87?
17, not 18. So
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was a little higher. All right, Mark.
Yo.
How many times before this year, in our draft history, have the Seahawks not used a first-round pick? How many times have they not used a first-round pick? Is it 7, 8, or 9 times?
Not used in our total draft history because under
Never
Carroll,
used a first-round pick in this draft. Yeah,
Under
how many?
Carroll
7,
it's
8, or
been-
9 times?
Okay, yeah, because under Carroll, man, it's just like routine.
Yeah.
Or the Schneid, I should say. Let's see. I'm gonna go 8.
He's gonna go 8. Mark's gonna go 8. I'm sorry. 7 times. 85, 88, 2007, and then 2013, 14, 15, and 17. So, 7 times.
Even that buzzer
I love how we've only done it a couple times throughout the first 30 years of team history, and then the last couple of years, it's like, oh yeah, 2013,
It's
2014,
like, yeah, 1,
2015.
2, 3, 4. 4 out of the last 5 years.
I thought we already had done it 7 times with Carroll. I was like, okay, because if I guess 7, it's going to really be 8. And so I added 1, and then of course.
Good point.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair guess.
Yeah, it is.
I would have gone
And then-
high on that one too. So
And then you subtract pi and you carry the 3 and yeah. All right, Dustin.
Yep.
Are you ready?
Sure. Are you ready?
We may proceed.
I thought I was 3.
Oh,
I
Matt,
thought
you
he
want to be
was
3?
too.
All right, Matt, you're 3. You're right. Matt, you ready?
Just for the record, I am ready.
Hey,
though.
Dustin.
Yeah.
Take a break. Matt, you're up.
What's the bet? I probably should have waited and gone 4th. Go on then. If it's
Probably
college,
because this
I'm
is
going to
not a
bed.
football question, Matt.
oh,
Jesus
Matt,
Christ.
last year we drafted a guy named Mike Tyson, if you remember.
I do.
He has a famous, there's a famous Mike Tyson that does not play football. He's a fighter. And he fought 58 fights. Out of
Really?
58 fights, how many of Mike Tyson's fights ended
I
as a
don't
first-round
dare.
victory?
I
Out
have
of
no
58.
idea. Give me the numbers.
24, 25, or 26?
25. I ain't got a clue. I don't watch boxing.
Yes.
Who gives a crap about two people blocking cars the hell out of each other?
I mean,
So 25,
I like
huh?
UFC.
Yeah, 25.
He doesn't care.
Although
25.
was he the one? Can I ask a question? Was he the one who bit the earlobe off somebody?
Yes, Evander
Now,
Holyfield.
I watched that fight. Bear in mind that I've said I just don't watch fighting. I did actually watch that fight, but I was intoxicated on many many drinks. And
So was Mike Tyson, apparently.
I know
So
that.
apparently, yeah. And my mate, who was also very intoxicated on the drink, actually bit my other mate's ear.
Oh no!
Whoa!
To demonstrate what he did. So they were both so drunk that he actually
my
bit
God.
his ear.
Hopefully he didn't bite the ear off. Though.
He didn't bite it
come
off,
off,
no,
did
but he
it?
did leave a lot of mess and there's a lot of scarring. But it was a very funny evening.
Wow.
A very funny evening.
Matt.
Funny as long as you were the guy getting bit.
Matt's friends are freaks, man.
Honestly,
Yeah.
don't piss with me. I'll hurt you. I'll stab a bitch. I'll get you. Go on then. What 25? I said.
Oh yeah, we're doing.
How
trivia.
do you top that? I don't know.
25. I know. Here's how you top that. No, it's not right. It's 24,
Who cares?
not 25. Like, who care? That's awesome. Great story. Hey, Dustin.
Yeah.
We're gonna ask you a question now, okay?
I'm ready. I've been ready. I've been waiting on
I
you.
know. All right, number 4. How many times have the Seahawks used a top 3 pick? A top 3 pick, 4, 5, or 6 times. Top 3 pick, 4, 5, or 6 times.
There's Okun. No, Okun was 6.
Top 3. Yeah, we're talking top 3.
Top 3. Yeah, dude, I have no idea. I'll say how many? What were the options?
4, 5, or 6.
4, 5, or 6. I'll say 5. I have no idea.
Say 5. Okay. He has no idea. 5. I mean, you know what the hell? Oh my God!
Nice.
1976, 1983, 1990,
Cortez
1993,
Kennedy. No one I could think
1997.
of was Cortez Kennedy.
And Cortez was 1990. Yes.
Remember, Sean Springs was one of them.
Sean was one of those. Yes.
83 was the original Kurt Warner, right?
Yes. And 76 was Niehaus, who might show up later. All right.
So,
So-
77 should have been Dorsett. Oh well.
Yeah. So the only person to get a score in the first round was Dustin.
As it should be.
Round 2, the
Oh.
topic is undrafted. The topic is undrafted. So Dustin, you get 5, 6, 7, or 8.
You know, I'm gonna mix it up. I'll go first.
So you're number 5.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Matt, 6, 7, 8.
I'll go last.
8.
I like how we're
Um,
not giving him numbers. Somebody say 3rd.
I'm just throwing. Yeah.
Yeah, just
They can figure it out.
Will,
We're
6 or 7.
jackasses.
I'll go third.
3rd. You jerk. And that leaves Mark with number 6. All right, here we go.
No, Mark's going second.
Second, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Undrafted, here we go. Question 5 to Dustin. Dustin, Pro Bowl safety and undrafted player Eugene Robinson. You remember him?
Yes.
Eugene had an interesting hobby, and it wasn't what
Yeah.
you're thinking. Let's not go.
He
Picking up
sure
hookers
did.
in
He
Atlanta.
sure- Sorry.
What hobby am I talking about? Did he play the drums? Did he play the guitar, or did he play the saxophone? Or did he play around? Look out! No.
As soon as
Play
you said
drums,
he had a
guitar,
hobby,
saxophone.
I thought drums. So I'm gonna go drums.
He's gonna go drums. And the answer is no. I'm sorry. He played saxophone.
I was
Yeah.
wondering if you're going to do a play on words with that one.
He played the sexy phone.
The sexy phone.
Yeah.
What
As
a
You
name.
know,
As
I loved watching Robinson play. It's kind of a shame that his whole career boiled down
I know,
to
he was a great
one
player.
dumb decision.
It does. And I remember when he
It's
started, I was so tired of seeing 41 chasing people from behind. I'm like, that 41 is just pissing me off when he started, because he just is always behind. Everyone's behind him. He's a safety dude. You're not supposed to let people behind you. And then, a couple years later, I'm cheering for him. He's one of the best safety. Yeah, one of the best players we ever had, really. Except for one mistake. But, yeah, play saxophone. Mark?
I'm sorry. It's like, like his agent would be like, this was just incredibly bad timing. I mean, he just got caught up in the Super Bowl pregame moment. I mean, I just love the idea of someone trying to spin that one.
Yeah, really.
You know, they did
Drew
those old,
Rosenhaus.
I mean,
they did those old like music videos with the teams, right? I can't remember the Seahawks one off the top of my head, but didn't he play the saxophone in the locker room?
Yes, he did.
No, that was Michael Jackson. Because
Oh,
that was
you're
made.
thinking, you're thinking the old one, but there was a one made where he did play saxophone on it, and was it Harris was the singer? It was
I don't know.
later.
I just remember seeing somebody in a Seahawks locker
I
room playing
remember
the
the
saxophone.
Blue Wave is on a roll, right?
Yeah, the
That
Blue Wave's
song?
on a roll. He's right. That's Michael
But yeah,
Jackson.
but that was
playing the
the
sax.
mid '80s. So.
Right.
Yeah, but I think later, like Corey Harris, there's like an NFL album made of. Oh, listen to this: NFL stars who sing, which I'm sure was fantastic.
Yeah.
And Corey
Ricky
Harris.
Waters was sure great.
Yeah, that's the one. It's Ricky Waters' song. I think he plays the sax on or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah.
Oh man.
Mark.
Okay.
There was
recovered.
a movie in 2016 called Undrafted. It's centered around what sport? Baseball, basketball, or football? Undrafted, the movie. Was it centered around baseball, basketball, or football?
Oh my goodness! You know that's only that's not even probably 2 years ago, and I didn't even hear this stupid movie.
Hey, you're not alone. I didn't either.
Oh my God! Well, we know what the easy answer would be. You know what? I just can't overthink it. I'm gonna go ahead and say baseball.
I thought baseball too.
I'm gonna set myself up to say baseball.
My first thought wasn't Kevin
You wouldn't do
Costner
me
in
the
that?
cruel irony of making it football.
I want to do
No way.
golf. I'll say
There's
golf.
no way it could
Golf.
be football, but we'll find out.
Tennis.
I'm going to do bartending.
Oh my goodness!
All right, you said baseball.
I said baseball.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my goodness!
Baseball.
Who
Unbelievable.
was
Mark.
in this movie?
Kevin
I don't
Costner.
even remember. Bunch of no names. Hey, Will.
What?
You remember Jon Kitna? Jon Kitna Caboodle?
Yep, I do.
Yeah, you're gonna get this one. What
Probably
NFL
not.
Europe team did undrafted free agent Jon Kitna play on? Did he play on the Amsterdam Admirals, the Barcelona Dragons, or the Rain Fire? Those are some awesome names, by the way.
I miss the old Waffle League,
I know you too.
World League of American Football.
Kurt Warner? Didn't Vinatieri play in that?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so. Jake
Anyway,
Delhomme backed up Kurt Warner in the World Football League, I think.
I think I'm going to
Sorry.
go Barcelona Dragons.
Or if they say in Spain, Barcelona.
They say that.
I don't know.
No,
Absolutely.
Not normally, no.
Barcelona Dragons. Yeah, Barcelona Dragons. Way to go.
Nice job.
Woo!
Wow.
What'd you say the fire was from? Where were they from? Or no, it was
Rain.
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 wasn't it?
Germany.
Rain.
Germany.
R-E-I-G-N. Rain,
Okay.
the Rainfire, and the Amsterdam Admirals. All right, Matt.
Hello.
Everyone has a point but you right now. Here we go.
Oh, I don't care. No pressure.
Hey, you remember Dave Krieg?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was an undrafted quarterback from Milton College. You know, Milton College is no longer in existence.
Oh, fuck. Oh, sorry.
Dave Krieg.
Oh dear.
But what was the mascot of Milton College?
Oh,
Was
I
it the
don't care.
Bulldog, the Hawk,
Why
or
does
the
this keep happening
Wildcat?
to me?
What was the mascot of Milton College? Bulldog, Hawk, or Wildcat?
It was the mud
Get Dave
bone.
Krieg on the phone!
It was the mud bone.
Who cares? I mean, it's just. Why can't you ask me a question that I'm
That
bound to
is
get?
correct.
Right, go on then. Give me all the animals. I'm going to pick
You
one.
could ask the kids.
Okay.
Give me the animal. Give me the animals.
Oh, Bulldog, Hawk, or Wildcat?
Wildcats. Because
Who cares?
Can't possibly be hawks. I'm going to go on the basis of what Mark said. Because you're not going to give us hawks because that's too obvious. So I'm going to scam that one.
Yes!
Yes.
And he got it
Yeah.
right.
Everyone
Nice job.
Another
got the
clutch
last
moment.
question right.
Another clutch Matty moment.
Clutch, my
Unbelievable.
you know what? There's nothing clutch about it.
He clenched. That was a clench, not a clutch.
Oh my God!
I think
Everyone's
the technical
tied at
term is
one
wild ass guess.
as we roll into the final question. All right, the final question, worth 2 points, and we'll crown ourselves a champion. It is a number, high-low. The highest, the one closest without going over gets the 2 points and is 12-Man Fan Jam Show halftime trivia champion.
Of the
The
world.
order
Yeah, I'm the world champion.
of the world. The order will actually go Matt, Mark, Will, and Dustin
Oh yeah, go on then.
in order of how the points were scored. All right. And
Press
the
the-
question. The question is this. Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Matt.
Yes.
What number pick of the 2000 NFL Draft was Super Bowl 48 MVP Malcolm Smith? What number draft was he?
Malcolm Smith.
Yeah. So, like, was he the 135th pick? Is he the 12th pick? Is he the 30th pick? What number pick of the 2011 draft was Super Bowl NFL or 48 MVP Malcolm Smith?
A clue.
I'm going last, so somebody else is going to win this.
44.
Matt says 44. We go to Mark.
Oh man, he was drafted, I thought, way late. I think, in fact, last round is my memory, but we know what my IQ is. Anyway, for the purposes of moving it on, I am going to say,
Oh gosh.
this guy was drafted number 209.
209.
Yep.
Will?
I will say 251.
251, and now Dustin.
Yeah, I
Here's a
thought for
recap.
sure somebody else was going to guess. It's 242.
Dustin. Wow.
Oh,
Cool. Wow.
My
He knows. He's there. He knows.
goodness. Somebody has been Googling.
No, dude. The Super Bowl MVP, this is a 7th rounder. You hear a lot about where he was drafted. There's a lot of talk about that shit.
Well, guess what? He was picked 242. Surprise,
oh my
surprise.
goodness.
Dustin knows his Super Bowl
Wow.
trivia. Congratulations, Dustin.
Thank goodness
Thank
it's
you,
off season.
thank you,
It doesn't
thank you.
count.
I'm actually kind of shocked I didn't pick 243.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt.
You said 2, and I went, oh, here it comes. And then 51 came out.
Yeah, I know. As soon as I heard the question, I was like, oh, somebody's going to get this before I get a chance.
Well, and that's what I thought. I thought maybe somebody would get it, but I wanted, wow. Unbelievable.
Impressive.
Good job, Dustin.
I was.
Oh,
I was,
yeah.
I was
Thank
still
you,
shook.
thank you, thank you.
I was still
Very,
shook
very
from Milton
impressive.
College.
Nailed it. This has been another crowd-pleasing, heart-stopping, award-winning edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia.
The world.
Otherworld. We'll be back with the second half of the show right after this. Skilo, take us out.
I confess it's a shame when you living in a city that's the size of a box and nobody knows your name.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
Yes, welcome to the third quarter of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Hey, you! Yes, you, looking for Mel Kiper's personality. Like, share, and subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Download us off iTunes or Podbean. Do it now before Mel calls for another quarterback too short. Too late! All right. Let's take a look at the Seahawks draft order and their needs as we approach the wonderful NFL draft. Right now, the Seahawks currently have a number 1, a number 4, 3 number 5s, and 3 number 7s. Will, I think they'd like more picks, wouldn't they? You think they're going to trade down?
Let's put it this way: unless video of Saquon Barkley sticking a gas mask bong surfaces and he drops to number 18, we will be trading down. The good news is this is the kind of draft where it's good to trade down because once you get past the first 12 to 15 picks, there's really not separating much between a player that's going to go at 18 or 20 and a player that's going to go at in the 50s. So this is a draft where we want a lot of second round picks, and I think one way or another we're going to get a couple.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you this. So, okay, let me ask Dustin this. Dustin, we heard about if they trade down or not. I think most of us think they probably will. Do you think that they may try to trade up, like get in the second and third round by using a 5th or 7th or a 4th or something like that?
I would say no, because unless something crazy happens earlier in the draft, because right now they just don't have the draft capital to do that kind of thing. Okay. They need to bring in picks and guys and have competition, and they don't have the picks, so I don't think so.
All right. Matt, offensively, there's a lot of needs on this team. Where would you like to see them start?
Running back. Well, I think it depends. Are they looking to You just don't know. Are they looking to really build a team around Russell in as much as he's throwing, or are we going to stick to this whole, the Pete Carroll era of just running game? I don't know if the easy honest answer to that, but I think running back. I'd like to get a proper replacement for Beast. Get some get some boots on the ground, do some pounding.
Yeah, Zorni, what are your thoughts on that? Running back, number one priority. I think I know what yours is, but go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can pick and choose a little bit here. I don't know what I said before. You sound
you're always begging for offensive linemen. That's what I think you would go.
Well, I mean, that's going to be a work in progress no matter what. I mean, it's 5 guys, and so I mean, for the time being, at running back for sure. If the best available running back or somebody slides a little bit, who whatever they had graded higher, by all means do that, and then they'll just have to build the line.
Yeah. Will, what are your thoughts? Offensive needs, something you really are hoping they go for here?
Oh gosh, there's a lot of ways you can go. You can go running back, obviously. You can go receiver. You can actually. One thing that hasn't been brought up yet is we really don't have much at tight end. Now that Jimmy Graham and Luke Wilson are gone, so I cannot believe Matt did not mention tight end. So,
I for once I thought I'd let it go because I know that Dennis is on the edge.
It's okay,
but there's that.
I'm all right.
There's linemen. There's a lot of ways that Seattle can go, and I think to an extent they're going to let the draft come to them a little bit after they move around.
I don't want anybody to worry about me. I'm fine.
See what you've done there, Will.
He mentioned him, and I just want you to know.
Well, this is tough love. We're trying to get you through this.
I know.
Have a glass of Van Ness.
I just can't take it. Jimmy, come back, buddy!
Have a bottle of Van Ness.
Sorry! We'll give you anything you want, man.
Moses, he is coming back in November.
Yeah!
We're still wearing a different shirt. He'll be coming back.
Yeah, it's coming back in November.
Your red cheese is coming back.
That's true. No, I tease. I mean, I wish him the best, but I tease. But anyway, you're right. Tight end is a position that we should be looking for offensively. I agree, and no one talks about it. But with we've got where we're looking at right now, we're looking at Vanette. We're looking at Dixon, and we're looking at a guy who they're turning into in Swoops. A guy they're turning into a tight end.
Yep.
Whoops.
So,
wait. Is that a leftover project from Cable's folder? I mean, what's this? We still trying to convert people?
A little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah.
What's going on with Vanette or Van A or whatever the hell? I mean, this guy should already be playing, shouldn't he?
You know what?
I mean, it's the off season, so.
I've heard rumblings. I mean, take it with a grain of salt, but I've heard rumblings that the team isn't too satisfied with his preparation and work ethic, so he may not be. He may not be all in.
Oh boy,
that doesn't surprise me because Luke Wilson was talking about how they had this whole elaborate freaking end zone touchdown dance set up, and it was going to involve Vanette, if he scored a touchdown, tapping a football like it was, or shotgunning a football like it was a beer, tossing it around everybody else so they can shotgun it as well.
Oh my god!
Yeah, if that's where his focus is at, I believe it.
Oh my god!
I think
that's
it'd be
a
awesome.
party man from Ohio State. That's who that is.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know, but tight end is a position of need without question. Dustin, what about defensively? What are you looking for from the draft?
I'd say, well, first of all, are we talking about the first defensive player they take, or are we talking about
one of the glaring needs that we need to address maybe through the draft?
Pass rusher.
Yeah. Can't have too many of those.
It's got to be a pass rusher.
Yeah.
You lost Bennett. Avril's probably out. Frank Clark's there. Malik McDowell is,
not there.
Malik.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. So it's got to be pass rusher. We need somebody to help out. I know that Mingo's in there, and I think they're going to put him in a lot of good spots to rush the passer. I think that'll help with some of it, but that line is going to need help for that.
Yeah. Matt, what do you think defensively? A glaring need.
Well, I was going to say pass rusher, but I mean, I think corner. Let's build up some strong safety. I don't know. Do something. It's too early in the morning for me to do that.
He's over there
That's
poking the
saying-
Seahawks with a stick.
Do something
Do
to
stuff.
a bit of stability. You know, I mean, what interests me is what's happening with Earl Thomas, because although I know people are saying that he's not going to hold out and all that sort of stuff, but is his heart really in it still? I don't know.
See, that's a good question.
I don't know. I think that there's a need to rebuild that secondary up. I'd like to see a good, strong replacement for Sherman.
Yeah.
I know Shaquille's there, but something like that.
Yeah, surprising they didn't bring back Maxwell too. So definitely need another corner.
Yet. No, he hasn't signed anywhere, so we don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Zorny, position and defense.
Wow, I mean, pass rusher, you can't go wrong. Part of me though, I don't know, again, if a corner drops that we didn't expect to be there, I wouldn't mind that. I mean, corners are tough to find too. So, but yeah, I mean, again, that side, and we're just, we're taking applications,
Yeah, pretty much.
But I'm excited though. I mean, I'm really curious how they choose to coach us. I think it's actually going to force us to be more aggressive, but that's another show.
It's really interesting to us. We're in such a situation whereby when you say what do you want offensively or defensively, you can almost say anything.
You really could.
Because we've got that many holes that sort of need to be, addressed. And I was going to say filled, but I'm not going to say that because I'm dealing with 12-year-olds. But
Matt will fill no holes.
I'm filling no holes after because I'm not going to be watching the 2026. I've already got because we normally trade up anyway. So
That's true.
I'm not going to bother watching. Yeah. But we have got an awful lot of need. So it's like pick a place, pick a position, and we probably need it.
Yeah, a lot of need, not a lot of draft picks. So
that's the problem.
And I think this is the kind of draft where you're not going to see a pick like Malik McDowell, thankfully, high.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to swing for the fences with our early picks. We need guys that we can count on to come in and make a contribution. So the McDowell pick is one you make if you're getting the guys together for one last run at a title. We're not in that situation anymore. So
right. Very true. Very true. It should be exciting. I know. Matt has already said he's not going to watch the first round. I think a lot of people are going to. I'll probably cautiously watch the first round, knowing that I probably won't see anything happen for Seattle, but you never know. So we'll see. I think the biggest shock. I think the biggest shock of this draft will be if the Seahawks actually drafted 18, but we'll see.
I used to take the day off for drafts and go to draft parties and stuff.
Oh yes.
And I stopped doing that altogether. I just work now.
Well, but it's also over 4 days. Like we used to do a Saturday, and we'd spend all day at someone's house and watch draft.
I miss those drafts.
And now it's on Thursday night, Friday night. So it's like, how do you? What ridiculous.
Real quick, what position is Griffin's brother? Is he?
He's a linebacker.
He's a linebacker.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is he? Anyone know? I'm just curious where he's slated to go. Is he going to be in the second round?
It sounds like he might be going in first or second round because he was actually invited to New York to sit. So
yeah, I know. That's crazy.
There was a lot of hype about Griffin. It's kind of cooled. You look at the mock drafts out there. Nobody has a damn clue where this guy's going to go.
Right.
To be honest. So
but he wouldn't have got a draft an invite to New York unless they thought there was a chance he'd go in the first 2 rounds, though.
Well, they've had guys there all 3 days the last couple of years. So
Menzel.
But it's interesting that he's there because that usually is reserved for.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Interesting. It'll be interesting to see where he falls. I think
it'd be very Carol-like for him to try and get him and pair the two together. Maybe I don't know.
Great locker room move. Great morale move, and a great player move. All the way
and
around.
Just do their contracts at the same time. Just reset it. They both,
and
split the money.
I've said my only concern about Shaquem, my only concern has always been his height and weight. I don't give a daggone about his arm. He's obviously effective, so it doesn't matter. But his height and weight were always. I'm like, for a linebacker, I think he's like 225, and I'm going.
Probably something. He's about 30 pounds heavier than his brother, so.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, I just don't know size-wise. If that's what I mean, as far as a pure pass rusher, yeah, bring him.
Yeah.
But an every down linebacker at 225 in the NFL, I kind of cringe a little bit, and it's just this body size. He's obviously proven that his arm is not in effect. I mean, he's obviously proven by how he's played. That's not an issue.
Here's the thing with him, though. If he were to be on the Seahawks, I think he'd be in the same role that Mingo's going to be in.
Yeah.
And they're not going to, if he was going to be an undrafted free agent, I could see him being here.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see it as a draft pick because
well-
we already have Mingo, and he doesn't
it
fit
could
that
get
mold. He'd
tricky
be a
making
special
it-
teams player on our team, I think.
Dennis will like this. It could be tricky if we make it a family affair. Oh, it's a very old reference. But it's such a Pete Carroll kind of story that it's like such a positive example for the
absolutely.
whole team. So he may feel
It's a great
the
story
pick,
for everybody.
The pick is worth it to bring kind of a Disney feel back to the team compared to
Well,
the
Schneider said
protests.
Schneider said he wanted to bring in guys who are all football, and Shaquem Griffin is about the most all football guy in this year's class. So,
And besides, like Mark said, it'll bring a family affair into fruition. Here you go, Mark. A family affair with the Griffins.
Yep.
That'll take you back.
Yeah, that takes me back to milk and whiskey. I mean, the fond memories, Dennis.
Yes.
I'm now loving
Bad
the,
60s TV. All right.
I'm loving the idea of a Disney football team now. I think that's an awesome idea, Mark. Do you want to score a touchdown? We could have like full singing and dancing. We could have we could have Tamia being one of those talking birds when they sing a song and they land on their arm. Although she's already done that and nearly blinded somebody in the stadium.
That's a much better bird than like the one from Aladdin, because
Disney
Gilbert
NFL
Gottfried's
the
voice is
musical.
terrible.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Oh, we got to work on that. That's something that we'll be coming
Goodell
very
could
close
be
on
the
our show.
big evil, the big evil one at the end.
Oh my God, that's coming to our show
like
very
it.
soon. Got you
Let's
too.
make him Ursula from Little Mermaid.
Let's plan this, but while we plan it, let's do it in between the quarters, because let's go ahead and end the third.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
I was watching clock.
Coming up next.
Wardrobe
You are watching
malfunction.
clock.
Sorry.
Let's talk about the 4th annual NFL Seattle Seahawks Draft Challenge between Will and I. Oh boy. You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show. Are we mocking you? We're not touching you. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. This is Statsman Mark. And when I'm not listening to Charo's greatest hits on 8-track tape, I'm listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
Oh yes, it's time for the 4th and final quarter of episode 603 of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. In this quarter, we are going to talk about the NFL Draft Challenge that we have every year. But first, I want to tell you that Matt has gone ahead and copyrighted Disney, the NFL musical. So
I was going to say that it's already full of Disney princesses, so I've got an abundance of casts all ready to go.
Fantastic. Here's how this draft challenge started. Now, Will considers himself a pretty, and I consider him an incredibly learned and well-thought, well-meaning, very intelligent Seahawk person who
just pull
looks
this
up,
all out of my ass.
Yeah, and he comes up with these mock drafts which are fantastic. And I said, well, anything you can do, I can do worse. So I decided that we would have a challenge. This is our 4th year doing this. Here's how we score this. Now, Will present his mock draft, and I'll present my mock draft. And then we'll put them on the wall, the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Facebook page if you want to see recap. But the winner, if there's a winner, if there's no winner, then we just move on. But if there is a winner, the winner will have a 60-second speech for the loser to read. Last year, Will won.
Weird.
And I had to recap the Seahawk draft as Donald Trump. So we'll see what he has this year, I'm sure. Here's the scoring. 3 points if your player that you say the Seahawks are drafting, they actually pick him in the round you say they're going to pick him. You get 2 points if that player is drafted by the Seahawks, just not in the round you say. And 1 point if the player is picked up as an undrafted free agent by the next show. We give about 3 or 4 days when they do a bunch of undrafted free agents. And you get a point for that if that happens. Okay. All right, Will, you're going first as usual, and you have a couple trades on your draft board, don't you?
Well, I couldn't put together a mock draft without trades, since it just seems so likely that we're going to trade down out of the first pick, and I think we're going to have some suitors for the 18th pick because I think teams may want to jump ahead of the Cowboys to get a receiver. I actually had Cleveland jumping back up into the first round to get a tackle to replace Joe Thomas. So we trade pick number 18 to Cleveland for picks number 33, 64, and 114. So that's the first and last picks in the second round and a fourth round pick. And in addition to that, I also pulled the trigger on an Earl Thomas trade to Dallas, getting pick number 50 in the second round and pick number 137 in the fourth round. And if this were real life, I would also get something for next year's draft as well. So
nice. So that leaves you with a lot of picks for this draft.
Yep, 11 picks overall.
Ooh,
so
nice. That'd be beautiful to have. Even the Earl Thomas thing. I'm not too excited about the Earl Thomas thing, but if we get 11 picks, that'd be kind of sweet.
And again, of course, I do this, get this all put together Wednesday night, and then the news comes out Thursday. Pete Carroll's like, "Oh yeah, Earl Thomas is in our plans," and Earl Thomas isn't going to hold out. So, if Earl Thomas is on this team playing at a Pro Bowl level this year, you owe it all to me because I predicted he'd be traded.
You've got on your list before you start. You've got a couple guys here that would almost fit my list, but we'll talk about that later. So go ahead with you. We start the second round, pick 33.
Yep. First pick in the second round, Christian Kirk, wide receiver out of Texas A&M. First team All SEC last year, 71 catches, 10 touchdowns. You look at this guy and the way he's built, the way he plays. He's like Golden Tate.
Very nice. Hey, so, I hope if he gets on the team, he becomes captain, so he can be Captain Kirk. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I'm done.
That would be perfect.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Okay, with the Earl Thomas pick, I am going running back. I don't know if he'll be there at this pick, but if he is, I like Nick Chubb, running back out of Georgia. Had a pretty nasty knee injury back in 2015, but got over 1,300 yards rushing and 15 touchdowns last year. This guy's a thumper. He's not Marshawn Lynch, but nobody's Marshawn Lynch. And you get this guy, he can be your bell cow running back, and you pair him up with a third down back to be the lightning to his thunder. And I think that in and of itself helps the running game.
Very nice.
Pick 64, I took Ian Thomas, a tight end out of Indiana. And this one is, this guy's going to need a little bit of development, but you look at the athletic ability, the size, and a couple of years from now, he could turn out to be the best tight end from this draft, both as a blocker and as a receiver.
Nice.
You get a guy who maybe in a couple of years could be our next Zach Miller, only hopefully healthier.
Nice.
All right, next pick is the 114th pick in the draft, the last one I got from Cleveland. I went Derek, I can't pronounce this right, Derek Nadi, defensive tackle out of Florida State. Little smaller than the big run-stuffing DTs, but nobody outworks the guy. He's a good, gets a lot of penetration. Yeah, I know. But
love that.
Good pass rusher from the interior, and unlike a lot of guys in college who just get by on their talent, he's actually developed quite a few pass rush moves. So this is a guy I think you can work in immediately, and he'd be frankly one of my favorite picks if we do get him.
That's awesome.
Pick number 120, Holton Hill, cornerback out of Texas. This is my one high-risk pick of the draft, but it's the fourth round, so I figure it's worth it. He got suspended last year for breaking team rules, but you look at his size, athletic ability, and whatnot, this guy, if he wasn't such a knucklehead, would have been a first or second round pick. So you bring him in, and you gamble a bit on the upside.
You know, he played for Texas. He violated the team rule. He actually went to class. So,
ouch.
Go ahead. I apologize.
Can't do that.
And then he stole
Sorry,
the
Texas.
laptop.
Sorry, Texas. Go ahead.
Okay, pick number 137. If he's still on the board, I'm pulling the trigger. Shaquem Griffin. For a lot of the reasons what we already mentioned in the last quarter, so I won't belabor this pick too much.
Fair enough.
Going into the fifth round, pick number 141, Cole Madison, 4-year starter at right tackle at Wazoo. Not so much a mauler, but is a good positional player, very smart, obviously has a lot of experience pass blocking in that offense.
Yeah.
May need to kick inside to guard, but, you pair him with DJ Fluker on the right side and have him maul people. Madison could work out his tackle, so that might work.
Very nice.
My next pick at 146, Tony Brown, cornerback out of Alabama. Guy runs a 4.3540 and plays up to it. Kind of depends on that speed a little bit, but he's also a very physical corner, also and good special teams gunner. Pick number 156, I had Natrell Jamerson, safety out of Wisconsin. Probably in the box safety at this point, so maybe an eventual replacement for Cam Chancellor. He actually switched, I believe this was him. He switched from wide receiver to cornerback and then to safety last year. So
wow,
still learning the position, but very instinctual. Good from the safety blitz. Got potential. 168th overall pick, our fifth round pick in this mock. I went Chase Edmonds, running back out of Fordham. Was setting FCS records left and right before he got injured a little bit last year. This guy is a third down back, and he's not going to break a lot of tackles, but you have to get the guy to tackle him first. And you watch him, and he is just backing all over the place. He will make people miss and make people look silly. So you get him in, maybe have him compete with J.D. McKissick for the third down back role.
Cool.
That leaves me with 2 picks in the 7th round. With the first pick, I'm going Poona Ford.
Poona.
I don't know where that name came from, but defensive tackle out of Texas. This guy is another pass rushing DT. He's just under 6 feet tall, actually. He's 303 pounds, so he's a little undersized, but he's got great lower body strength, pretty good get off, and the guy's got a chip on his shoulder because he was not invited to the combine. So
wow,
bring the guy in and
like that.
Bring the guy in and see if he can prove people wrong. Last pick in my draft, I went Kyle Allen, quarterback out of Houston. This guy's an interesting case. He was the most sought-after recruit coming out of high school, went to A&M for a couple of years, transferred to Houston, got off his 2017 season to a good start, but then got benched for the latter half of the year. This guy needs a lot of work, but you're taking a quarterback in the 7th round, it's going to be a developmental quarterback anyway.
Right.
And Allen's issues are between his ears. He's got the size, he's got the arm, he's got the accuracy. He's a guy you take and you put him on the practice squad for a couple of years, and hopefully you develop him into a solid quarterback.
Fantastic. I love the picks. I love the last pick especially. This is a great list, Will. Really, honestly, I would, if we had a list like this after draft day, I would be a happy man. So
yeah, there's a couple of edge rushers in the 2nd round. There was actually about 10 players in the 2nd round that I wished I could have fit in here, and it just didn't work out. But what do we got here? Yeah, Rasheem Green, defensive end out of USC. Josh Sweat, edge rusher out of Florida State.
Nice.
So I could really see us potentially going defensive end in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
Maybe second safety in the 2nd round if we do trade Thomas. You could do Jesse Bates, safety out of Wake Forest, or Justin Reed, the safety out of Stanford. My one thing with defensive line is the 2019 defensive line group it's looking like an amazing draft class next year.
Good.
So if we don't get one early this year, there are some really good prospects we can get next year.
Excellent. Well, as usual, it's a fantastic list. It always is, Will. I know you do a great job with that. I look at that list, and like I said, if we had that draft, I'd be a happy man, despite losing Earl Thomas. But I think your draft is amazing. You do your due diligence. You research, you compare, you watch film, you do things. Well, I just go for cheap laughs. So here's my mock draft for the 2018 Seattle Seahawks, and there's a theme here, and I'm sure you'll pick up on it early if you have never listened. First off, I don't believe in trades. It's against my religion to have trades, so we're just going to go with the picks that the Seahawks actually have. So that means that they have a first-round pick, and oh my God, they're actually drafting somebody. And in this case, it is a defensive end. They're going with a pass-rushing defensive end. I actually like this guy as a player, but I like his name even better. Ogbonnia Okoronkwo.
I knew it. I knew you were going to
Okoronkwo. And you knew it because...
That's a hell of a pickup line, man.
Yeah, and his last name is 20 points in Scrabble, so you got that going for you. Mark, Scrabble. I said Scrabble. Do people even play that anymore?
Oh,
It's
I don't
called
know, but
Words with Friends.
it sounds a lot like Infetti and
Don't bring that name on this show.
He's a good player, though. If we bring him in, I would not want to have to pronounce that, but I'd be happy to have him on the team.
He's a very good player.
As long as we don't Infetti the draft.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know what the funny thing about this whole thing is that there's actually a web page where you can put words in and they'll tell you how many Scrabble points things are. What in the world? Does anybody even play Scrabble? It's like cribbage. I could have brought cribbage or bridge or something.
Well, what are words for?
Yeah. So
Nobody
20 points on
scrambles
Scrabble if we have him.
anymore. No,
Now
good.
we go to the fourth round, and I'm going to go on the other side, and we're going to have an offensive lineman. And this one's kind of a dedication to all of you because this guy's name is fourth round pick out of LSU, Will Clapp. Because you want the clap on your line.
Yeah. He could play next to the guy from Wazoo.
Oh!
Wow! That was Statsman Mark. Please address all comments to Statsman Mark if you're still listening.
So it's getting late in the show.
I'm not.
But can't you see if he pancakes somebody and they say, look, the clap put that guy down. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I'll move on. Round 5,
Brady
pick
has the
141.
Sorry.
Something I did in my previous life before I became a teacher was I worked at a bank. And so I picked Wyatt Teller, offensive guard at Virginia Tech, because I myself was a teller. So I went with that. I thought that was pretty cool. This is coming up 5th round. This is one of my favorite names. There are so many great names in this draft. This guy probably should be in a couple other teams, but I took him. Equanimous St. Brown.
St. Brown.
Equanimous St. Brown. He should be a Saint or a Brown, but I'm going to go with us having him. I love his name. Equanimous St. Brown, wide receiver, Notre Dame, 5th round.
Good receiver.
He sounds like a character on Spartacus.
Yeah.
I am Equanimous.
Yeah, which hemisphere is this guy from? Like, where are we drafting?
What planet? 5th round, I don't know where this guy. I tried to find him on the draft boards.
That sounds like an Ivy League name.
Well, this guy is something that everyone's going to relax, and we're going to turn things down a notch a little bit. We're going to relax with a little jazz because my 5th round pick, last 5th round pick, is a guy named Jazz Peavy. So we're going to take things down a little bit here. Jazz Peavy, wide receiver in Wisconsin. It's my 5th round pick.
Yeah, jazz is genre music, obviously, and Peavy is the name brand of a speaker that a lot of musicians use.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. You're right.
Hey, Dennis, I got something here. I will gladly take 5 yards after Peavy causes a false start. See what I did there? I will take.
Nice.
Oh, that's great.
Nice.
And my dad, he's in a band. He's been in a band since he was like 13, and he had PV speakers, and we actually had a Doberman Pinscher named PV.
Everybody knew had PV speakers. I agree. But can you imagine? We're gonna have a little jazz now.
Nice.
Yes.
As long as they don't come out to that, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Okay. 7th round, 3 picks in the 7th round. I'm gonna be honest. I had Poona Ford on my list, but I took him off because I saw that Will had him.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Will bailed me out here in a minute. But first, the first 7th round pick is a familiar. These are all 3 familiar names. The first one is a really familiar name if you're a Seahawk fan because, I mean, it worked the first time on the field anyway. So why not use the 7th round pick on Chris Warren, running back out of Texas? I mean, come on.
Oh, no.
I knew you were going to pick him.
Chris Warren
I saw that.
has to happen. I mean, on the field, he was awesome. So you got
that guy. Sorry.
So Chris Warren was my first 7th round pick.
Didn't he run a 6.7 40 in college? The guy was so slow. Anyway, sorry.
I feel like I could run a 6.7 40 at this
That
point.
guy just
Mine's in minutes, but and then 7th round will help me out because I had Puna Ford, and since Puna was taken, he goes
Poo in a Ford.
Puna Ford.
Oh, they said poo in a Ford.
Puna.
I'm guessing that person's
Puna
Hawaiian.
Ford.
Goodness, where do you get your names?
No,
from?
it's a nickname.
Yeah.
I forget what his real name is.
Well, so Will actually helped
Joe.
me on my draft. He said, "Hey, this guy needs to be on your list," and he's right. I agree. Defensive tackle out of Arkansas State by the name of D. Liner. That's right, D. Liner. What'd you draft? You drafted a D. Liner. That's what. Excuse me. That's what you need.
Wow.
It kind of choked me up a little bit.
It works.
But D. Liner. His name is D. Liner. And, hopefully we find his brother O. Liner next year. But that's another question.
Man, they're coming with sticks of bubble gum.
Finally, there's only one way to end the draft, the mock draft for me, for the Seahawks. And I'm a big fan of music. And this name is part of the Seattle music scene and in a very indirect way. There's no other way to finish this draft. The 7th round pick for me, the final pick of my mock draft, is a linebacker from Kentucky named Courtney Love.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
That's right.
That's pretty direct, man. It's not
Courtney
indirect
Love,
at all.
baby. Married to Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't want to read headlines like Courtney Love blasts fans. I hope that doesn't
Yeah.
ever come to. Sorry.
Oh, that's rough.
The sad thing is, enough time has passed is that he probably was named after Courtney Love, the singer.
Probably
And
sadly
I feel
true.
old now.
Probably sadly true.
Yeah.
This is Hole, by the way. You're listening to Courtney's
Yeah, it's
band.
Courtney Love's Hole.
I love this song, but
Whoa.
anyway. So Courtney Love's going to finish up my draft. Thank you, Courtney. Kurt Cobain's wife, Frances Bean's mom. I guess you could even say that.
Probably widow at this point.
I guess Courtney Love can blow out the candle on this draft.
Oh.
Sorry.
Yikes!
I could resist.
Yeah, they might use her in the NBA draft with the ping pong balls, but
the
okay.
7th round is known as the gutter round. So.
Courtney, if he draft Courtney Love, I am going to do a cartwheel and fart. I'll be so excited.
Hey,
All right.
you predicted Mike Tyson last year, so
I did.
Yeah.
You have to be videoing that if you're going to do a cartwheel and fart. It has to be videoed.
I will. It'll be the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. All right. So that's our mock drafts. We'll put those up on 12-Man Fan Jam Show Facebook page or right before the draft, so you can kind of see how well Will does. Because don't even look at mine. But anyway, it does look like it's time to bring another wonderful and amazing 12-Man Fan Jam show to a sad close. We're so glad you decided to waste some time with us. We hope you laughed a little and maybe you learned a little something along the way. What did we learn on this episode? Well, we learned that one player is in the Kentucky Derby. We learned that someone likes to send out autographed pictures of himself.
And that's not me.
That's
not you. We learned that the Seahawks have suitors, which I thought was interesting. Dustin loves good penetration.
Who doesn't?
Matt's friends are ear-biting freaks. And finally, we learned that Disney NFL the Musical is going to happen. So, on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt, our new sound Shadowhawk Will, Statsman Mark, Dustin as the Beaver, Audrey Goodell, Mozette Little Mo, Mel Kiper, Mike Mayock, Todd McShay. This is Moses saying until next time, go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Go Hawks!